Imagine, if you will, the serene, silent expanse of space above us, a realm of infinite possibilities and boundless wonder. Now picture that vast darkness suddenly illuminated by countless flashes as every nuclear bomb on Earth detonates simultaneously in the vacuum of space. The implications of such an event are staggering, challenging our understanding of physics, technology, and the very survival of humanity. In this dramatic exploration, we delve into the profound consequences of this hypothetical scenario. What would happen to our world, our technology, and our existence if we unleashed this unparalleled destruction in the cosmos? When a single nuclear bomb explodes in space, the absence of an atmosphere means there's no blast wave or fireball as seen on Earth. Instead, the energy radiates outward in all directions. But what if hundreds or thousands of these bombs detonated all at once? The sheer scale of energy released would be unimaginable, creating a massive burst of electromagnetic radiation and particles. This combined explosion would generate an immense electromagnetic pulse, EMP, that could potentially envelop the entire planet. The intense radiation, including gamma rays and X-rays, would spread through space, affecting any object in its path. How would our technology withstand this unprecedented assault? Could our satellites and space stations survive, or would they be instantly disabled, plunging us into a technological dark age? The EMP, generated by multiple nuclear explosions in space, would be far more devastating than any single detonation. This mega EMP could potentially disrupt electronic systems on a global scale. Satellites, the backbone of our modern communication, navigation, and observation networks, would be particularly vulnerable. The high-energy particles would fry their delicate electronics, rendering them useless. The impact on Earth would be catastrophic. Power grids could fail, plunging entire regions into darkness. Communication networks could collapse, isolating communities and crippling emergency response systems. Transportation systems, reliant on GPS and electronic control systems, could grind to a halt. In an instant, our interconnected, technology-dependent world could be thrust back into a pre-digital era. How would we cope with the sudden loss of technology? Could society maintain order, or would we descend into chaos? The simultaneous detonation of nuclear bombs in space would create a massive amount of debris. The force of the explosions would shatter satellites and spacecraft, sending countless fragments hurtling through space at high velocities. This debris would pose a significant threat to any remaining operational satellites, spacecraft, and even the International Space Station. The creation of this debris field, known as the Kessler syndrome, could make certain orbits unusable for decades or even centuries. Future space missions could be endangered by the risk of collision with this debris. How would this affect our plans for space exploration and colonization? Would humanity be forced to abandon its dreams of reaching the stars, confined to Earth by the very technology we created? The detonation of all nuclear bombs in space would be a clear act of war with profound geopolitical implications. Such an event would likely be seen as an aggressive move, triggering a global crisis. Nations would scramble to understand who was responsible and to respond to the threat. The delicate balance of power that currently exists between nuclear-armed nations could be irrevocably altered. International treaties, such as the Outer Space Treaty of 1967, prohibit the use of nuclear weapons in space. However, the simultaneous detonation of all nuclear bombs would indicate a complete breakdown of these agreements. Could this lead to a new era of warfare, with nations developing even more destructive space-based weapons? Or could it prompt unprecedented levels of international cooperation to prevent such a catastrophe from ever happening again? While the majority of the radiation from the explosions would remain in space, some of it could be funneled along Earth's magnetic field lines, potentially impacting our atmosphere. The influx of high-energy particles could damage the ozone layer, increasing the risk of harmful ultraviolet radiation reaching the surface. The environmental impact would not be limited to the atmosphere. The fallout from the explosions could create a hazardous environment for astronauts and space missions. The Van Allen radiation belts, which protect Earth from solar radiation, could be intensified, posing additional risks to both human and robotic explorers. What long-term effects would this have on our planet and our ability to venture into space? Could we develop the technology to protect ourselves from this new threat? The technological fallout from the simultaneous detonation of nuclear bombs in space could be catastrophic. Our reliance on digital technology is pervasive, affecting every aspect of our lives. An EMP of this magnitude could knock out power grids, disrupt communications, and incapacitate transportation systems on a global scale. The economic impact would be devastating. Financial markets could collapse, supply chains could be severed, and industries could grind to a halt. The social consequences would be equally dire, with widespread panic and potential civil unrest. How would our societies cope with such a sudden and dramatic change? Are we resilient enough to adapt, or would we descend into chaos? Beyond the physical and technological damage, the psychological and social impact of such an event cannot be underestimated. The fear and uncertainty generated by the simultaneous detonation of all nuclear bombs in space could have long-lasting effects on the human psyche. The knowledge that our technological infrastructure is so vulnerable could lead to a pervasive sense of insecurity and mistrust. Communities could be torn apart by the struggle for resources and the breakdown of social order. The mental health of individuals, already strained by the pressures of modern life, could deteriorate further under the weight of this new existential threat. How can we prepare ourselves psychologically for such a scenario? What measures can we take to strengthen social cohesion and resilience? Given the potentially catastrophic consequences of the simultaneous detonation of nuclear bombs in space, prevention is paramount. International cooperation and stringent enforcement of treaties are essential to ensuring that space remains a peaceful domain. Advances in technology can also play a role in defense, such as the development of more resilient satellites and the hardening of critical infrastructure against EMPs. Public awareness and preparedness are equally important. Educating people about the potential risks and encouraging the development of contingency plans can help mitigate the impact of such an event. How can we foster a culture of preparedness without inciting panic? What role can governments, businesses, and individuals play in this effort? Conclusion: a call to action. The prospect of all nuclear bombs exploding in space at once is a chilling reminder of the destructive power we wield. It challenges us to think deeply about our technological dependencies, our geopolitical relationships, and our responsibilities as stewards of both our planet and the cosmos. The questions raised by this scenario are not just theoretical, they are urgent and demand our attention. As we look to the stars and dream of exploration and discovery, we must also confront the darker possibilities of our actions. The choices we make today will shape the future of humanity both on Earth and in space. Can we rise to the challenge and ensure a peaceful, sustainable future? The answer lies in our willingness to act, to cooperate, and to innovate in the face of the unthinkable.